FTP hates zone 2. It hates your zone 2, doesn't it? Because your zone 2 is hard. Your heart rate's going through the roof. You're breathing out your ass. And then you're suddenly deciding, zone 2 is a waste of time. It's not. It's the way that we are conforming our zones. It's the way that we are behaving. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 points to check on that mean you are falling into that trap. I'm going to balance it up and give you 3 checklist points to fix it, to bring the relationship back together. Because FTP and Zone 2, when they first met, they fell in love. It was love at first sight. FTP was taking Zone 2 out for meals. It was even wanting to meet the parents, and then before long, suddenly they were dividing up your cycling equipment and they were going their separate ways. And trust me, it was Zone 2 that was getting kicked out with the shittier half of your cycling gear. Now we're going to fix that because it is really important, but it's common, so don't worry. FTP is important. It's going to create your zones. So I'll show you how that is capable, but how it can go wrong. Hey, if you've stumbled across this video and it's your first time on the channel and you're wondering, what the hell is this guy talking about? Don't worry, I've been coaching for 30 years. I'm uploading videos multiple times a week because there's a lot of knowledge in here and I want to share it. You can check out the videos and, if you fancy it, consider subscribing to this wonderful nonsense. But I'm going to keep you on the right path. So let's dial into FTP. What is it? Let me hear it. It's a fitness score. No. It's a fitness test number. Yes. It helps me create my zones. Correct. It helps you create your zones. Nobody said it was a fitness test in terms of a score of supreme being. The higher the FTP, the greater I am as a man. Fuck off, it's not, okay? It is a test that measures muscular endurance. But we want to develop our cycling in terms of our cardiovascular, our aerobic endurance. So the two of them don't match up. But first it's okay, you get away with it. But think about it. You do a 20-minute FTP test, you've got big, strong legs. Most people have muscular endurance ahead of cardiovascular fitness anyway. But those big, strong legs can hold out for 20 minutes, can't they? Well, they can hold out for 5 minutes, coach, because that's the way I did the test. I held back for 15, and then I gave it everything I had in the last 5 minutes. Pushed up my average, there's my FTP. Now, you create your zones, and what happens in zone 2? I go to the top. Yeah, who is that? You go to the top of the zone, why? Because you are a warrior. You're a man. And your identity of being strong pushes you to the top. But the trouble with this is you're creating it from a muscular endurance number, okay? A strength number, but you're trying to then measure cardiovascular. Now, obviously, the test gives us a big range. And what we should be trying to do is to understand that. And if you're continually working at the top and you're out of breath, you've got ego versus efficiency syndrome. Yes, it's a medical syndrome, ego versus efficiency. It means that your head leads everything, okay? Yes, you know what I'm talking about, especially you guys. Yep, it leads everything. So on a group ride, you're great for 20 minutes and then you are fucked, okay? You need to understand this, the FTP, muscular strength, muscular endurance. So, what does that mean when it comes to training coach? How can I get them to love each other? How can I get me to stop thinking that zone 3 is okay all the time? Yeah, you don't want to do that. Sure, you can go and Google and find other channels that say, don't do zone 2, do all zone 3. That's great until you're so fatigued that you can't even take the trash cans out. That's great that you can't even read the kids a bedtime story. You can't even get to work. You're phoning up the boss saying, my Garmin says I need 72 hours recovery. I'm not coming in this week. Fuck off, come on, get real. It's all about how we use our head with all this wonderful plethora of numbers that's available to you. It's about how we use the data we've got to maximize our journey. I'm going to give you 3 points that will change the way that you approach your zone 2. Number 1, stop obsessing over FTP. Okay, because most people can exist within 30 to 40 watts on any given test, because your FTP has 15 watts above, 15 watts below, whatever range of zones you're using. Why is that? Because it's not an accurate measurement, but you may do a test and you may find that you always exist inside that range once you hit a plateau. Okay? Now, you can always push up FTP depending on your volume of time of training, but you've got consistent time, haven't you? It doesn't really change greatly, and when it does change, you go OTT and you end up over fatigued when you're on holiday or when you've got a bit of spare time. Okay? You've got to understand that your body's acclimatized to what it can cope with. You're only as good as what you can recover from. So stop obsessing over FTP. A higher FTP is not always the key factor that wins the Tour de France. Okay? That's a fact. Highest FTP doesn't win the Tour de France. There are other measurements. A pro is going to test each zone with a specific test. So I can help you with that. And the first thing that you've got to do is focus on that zone 2. Aim for the middle. Aim for the middle or the bottom third, okay? This is going to give you a good starting point and you will be in true zone 2, closer to what we would call fat max, where your mitochondria are using fat for fuel. If they can use more fat for fuel, they get a better workout. And what that basically means is your mitochondria become more efficient. You activate more of them and you grow them like a fucking army. An army of fuel cells that can deal with the oxygen coming in and they can create energy as you move forward. Yeah, that is it, baby. You've suddenly got a cardiovascular system that's huge. Many people have average FTP movement over a year or two with heavy training, but their zone 2 moves up. And you can do this by measuring your zone 2. Try drills whereby you ride for an hour and a half indoors at the upper end. What's your heart rate? Do the test again in 4 weeks, following a training plan, and see what changes happen. Maybe you could dial in power to weight. What's a good power to weight for zone 2 for an amateur? Well, many people can get up to 3 watts per kilogram. Some can even get up to 3.5. But I would say if you can get 2 watts per kilogram for your zone 2, great. Set a measurement for 2 watts. Set a measurement for 2.5 watts. What is that in terms of power? Ride at that every 4 weeks, 90 minutes, 2 hours. Can you hold it? No, I can't, coach. Bring it back. Start to work on that without focusing on chasing FTP numbers. So constantly then falling foul of your training and going back to hard workouts. Going back to, you need to work hard to move your fitness. You need to have adaptation. You need to have stimulus, but you need to recover from it. And you need to understand that when you're working hard, what's the key factor that flushes the lactic acid, that flushes that lactate to reuse as a fuel? Mitochondrial. And how are you going to develop mitochondrial?
I go and buy some on eBay. I get them on Amazon. Next day delivery.
Fuck off, come on, be sensible. You get them through the zone 2. And you get them from being in real zone 2, where your breathing is controlled. You're not producing too much carbon dioxide. So you're not breathing like a fanny, okay? You're in control. You know what those numbers are, but you're a warrior. Ego, efficiency. You've got to understand the journey is yours, okay? So it's super important. Try it and you can bring that relationship back together. FTP is crucial. It helps us create the zones, but those zones can mislead you because you're aiming for the top of the zone and you don't have to do that. Find your zone 2 naturally through RPE, through your breathing. Where is it at? And then try and dial in and build that with consistent riding, with consistent approach to that mid-zone target. Sure, you can add 1 to 2 key workouts a week on top of what you can manage in terms of time, but don't go looking for more time, don't go looking for more intensity until you've got that structure in play. Hey folks, I know we've only got a short time together in these YouTube videos, but you want more from me? Hey, click the link. That's going to take you to the pre-launch of my book. Yeah, I'm giving away 5,000 free copies. And if you like what you see in the videos, you're gonna love what you get in the book. Don't let your FTP bully your zone 2, and certainly keep your zone 2 in love with your FTP. You keep smiling, keep spinning, and I'll see you in the next video.